皆さん、こんにちは。高巻です。今日はレッスン2、グラマーです。Today, we're going to go over lesson 2, grammar points. So, in the book, lesson 2 grammar points are introduced on page 60 to 64. So, you can either follow it along with the book, or you can just watch the video and listen to my explanation, and you can read these pages from 60 to 64 as a review. And if you have questions, please ask me anytime. All right, so let's get started. So the biggest point in lesson 2 is about the words that we are using when we point at things. So if you remember from the new vocabulary in lesson 2, we learned a bunch of words starting with ko, so, a, do, and they mean, they are followed by different words and mean a little bit different things. But ko, so, a, do, these words all indicate where things are or what you're pointing at, as in location. So, kore means this thing closer to me. And this ko indicates closer to the speaker, something that is closer to the speaker. And de means an item or thing. So together, it's this thing closer to me. The word is kore. So if you say kore desu, then you're saying it's this that I have, or that's closer to me. So if you change ko to so and say sore, then that would be, so will be pointing at something closer to the listener, the other person. And de still mean the thing. So that thing closer to you, the other person. Sore desu. And if you say are, then that thing is far away from both of us, the speaker and the listener. So that thing over there, that will be are desu. Are. And if you don't know what thing or which item, if someone is pointing at, then you can use this question word, dore. So dore is a question word, so you're going to have ka at the end, and we're making a polite sentence. So, dore desu ka? Dore desu ka? Then you're asking, which one is it? Maybe that you want, or you want to buy, or you want to look. It depends on the context. But if you say, dore desu ka? That means, which one is it? Okay, so again, kore desu, this thing closer to me. Sore desu, closer to the other person. Are desu, far away from both of us. Dore desu ka? Which one is it? So remember these kore, sore, are, dore. Because we're going to keep these ko, so, a, do, but we're going to change this de into no. Then, kono, sono, ano, dono will become pre-nouns, meaning after you say kono or any of these, you have to say a noun, like pen. So you can't say kono desu. That sounds strange. In that case, you need to say kore desu. But if you want to specify what noun, what item you're holding or you're pointing at, then kono pen desu. Sono pen desu. Ano pen desu. Dono pen desu ka? So the distance to maybe you or the other person doesn't change, but the way you use this word will change. You have to have a noun after it. So kono, and you have to say noun. And you're saying it is this, whatever. Okay, so we looked at that. Ko, indicates closer to me, the speaker, so that's still the true. All right, sono, maybe pen. Sono pen, closer to the other person. So whatever the item that I'm pointing at, that is closer to the other person. Ano pen desu. Then that's a pen that's over there, far away from both of us. Dono pen desu ka? So that's a question word. So I want to know specifically which pen, maybe do you want? Which pen is it? Just very simple question. So you can replace this noun with pen. Then you can say, このペンです. This pen, it is. Maybe that's something you want. So, same thing over here. そのペンです。あのペンです。どのペンですか? Then again, this is a question, so you have to have ka at the end. So that's how we would use この. You have to have a noun after it. So, for example, この本は日本語ですか? So this is the topic. So this is the topic I want to talk about. So this book, right? So as for this book, 日本語ですか? Is it Japanese language? So that's how you can make a sentence or question. And then the other person says, これですか? はい、そうです. So, oh, you mean this? Yes, it is. So we say something like これですか? After, so someone asks a question and we answer it with a question, and we call that echo question. It is a rhetorical question. So I'm not really asking, but I'm just trying to make sure that what I think you are talking about is the same, so that this is how we confirm the topic. All right. So you mean this? これですか? So I didn't wait for the other person to answer the question, because and it's just a double checking kind of a function. これですか? はい、そうです. So let's see. I want to know how much this watch is. Then we have to start with this watch, because that's the topic. So how would you say this watch? So it's closer to Tanaka-san, and Tanaka-san is speaking. So that would be, is it これ or この? これ was all by itself. You cannot say a noun after that. So you're going to have to say この, and what was watch? 時計. この時計は? So that's a topic. And how much? We learned that in vocab 2. いくらですか? So put that together. この時計はいくらですか? So that's what Tanaka-san is asking. And it's actually, whoops. Right, and sorry, this is wrong because it says 1,600 yen. But here it says 1,800 yen. So let's just say I like cheaper things. So let's just do 1,600. So that would be 1,600 yen desu. 1,600 yen desu. So what do you think an echo question might be? So this is closer to her. So maybe that's far away from me. So maybe I can say, それですか? Or その時計ですか? You mean that watch? Closer to you? Then 1,600 yen desu. And when you learn something new, you can always say, ああ、そうですか. So Tanaka-san learned something new. ああ、そうですか. Is that right? And then you can say, ありがとう, okay, for telling me the price. So let's see, Tanaka-san's over here again now. And is that Chinese language? So this is you, let's say, and then this, what was the newspaper? Shinbun. Shimbun. You don't have to say it because it says here just that. So, but since it's closer to the other person, we're gonna use, is it sore or sono? Okay. We're not saying newspaper, so you can just say sore wa, and what was Chinese language? 中国語. Make that into a question. それは中国語ですか? それは中国語ですか? So that's what Tanaka-san will say. And yes, it is. So you can say, これですか? You mean this? はい、そうです. Yes, it is. Or you can also say, はい、中国語です. Let's talk about the third group of ko, so, do words, which would indicate this latter ko, not this one, because if you look at it, it has ko at the end of every word. So that would mean a space, location. So koko would be this place closer to the speaker. So which translates to here. Here is where I am. And if you say soko, then that place closer to the listener. So the other person. So that will be maybe there closer to you. Because in English, you really don't have this, you don't specifically have another word for that. You just say over there, or maybe there. And then the place far away from both of us, that would be, according to the rule, it would be ako. But we throw in this so here, so it's asoko. Asoko, that's a little bit irregular. And that means a place over there, far away from both of us. And the question word, so ko, so, do. And the ending for place is ko. So doko desu ka? Which place or where? Doko desu ka? And the vocabulary introduced another question word, dare, which means who, so which person. So that's another one. Dare desu ka? Dare desu ka? So if you want to say, if you want to point maybe to that student over there, and I wouldn't ask someone directly, who are you? Because that's kind of rude. Not the same in Japanese or English, I think. So maybe you can talk about another person. So that student, you have to say student. So you need a pre-noun, which would be ano. Let's say he's or she's far away from both of us. あの学生は誰ですか? あの学生は誰ですか? So it's kind of obvious. So you could skip あの学生誰ですか? Skip は and just say that too. Which in conversations, omitting particles happens all the time. All right, so same thing. So just breaking down the word koko. So this first ko is closer to the speaker, but this ko is a place, location. Soko, asoko. Doko desu ka? Doko. So these are the third category. So we did kore series, so, kono series, and then koko series. And they're all pointing things or places in different contexts, different places. All right, so if you can fill this out, that means you know these ko, so, do words. So closer to the speaker, and if you're just saying this thing, that thing, then that's gonna be kore. Then how about the noun to say something closer to the listener, pointing to the listener? Okay, what would that be? So you can pause this video and write this in your notebook or tablet and try to fill out the this chart. And I will tell you Well, I'm going to tell you now, but please pause the video and work on that, maybe a couple minutes. And then, okay, let's say you came back. All right, what do you have here? So that would be これ here, それ here, あれ どれ Pronouns, they end with no. So, この、その、あの、どの. And if you can write it in Romanized text or hiragana, if you can do it faster. I mean, I prefer hiragana, but this is a grammar lesson. So if you have to write it in Romanized text, that's okay too. And place this place closer to me. Koko, the other person. Soko, far away from both of us. Over there. Asoko, doko. So if you have all these, then that means you understand these different categories of words, but they all start with ko, so, a, or do. Okay, so we did dare. Dare desu ka? So that means who. And if you want to know whose something, right? Whose bicycle or whose book is it? Then you can use dare no and then follow that up with nouns. And I'll show you how we came to this. So if you want to say this bicycle, how would you do that? This bicycle. So this would be not kore, but kono, because you have to use bicycle, which is jitensha. And that's a question, just a simple question, yes or no question. この自転車ですか? この自転車ですか? So maybe is this bicycle you want? Maybe that's what you're asking. How about if you want to say, is that Tanaka-san's bicycle? Okay, so how would you say that? Tanaka-san, and then here we use no, the particle that we learned that in lesson 1. Tanaka-san no 自転車ですか? So now I don't know whose bicycle it is. So I don't know this part. This Tanaka-san, is it Tanaka-san, Suzuki-san? I don't know. Sakamaki-san, maybe. So here, instead of Tanaka-san, you can use the word who, which is dare. That's how we came up with this kind of question. 誰の自転車ですか? Then you're saying, whose bicycle is it? So that's how we came up with this question. So let's say we don't know whose shoes these are. How do you say shoes? Kutsu, right? So we're gonna say whose shoes? That will be 誰の靴ですか? 誰の靴ですか? And it's Takeshi's. So you could say たけしさんの靴です. How about this one? Bag. How would you say whose bag is this? What was a bag? カバン. So 誰のカバンですか? 誰のカバンですか? Then you can replace 誰 with the actual person's name. メアリーさん, that's Mary. メアリーさんのカバンです. You could say それはメアリーさんのカバンです. Then you're saying that thing over there is Mary's bag. You can say that. Okay, so let's move on to another grammar points. So noun plus mo. Mo is another particle. It's a phrase particle, so you're going to have noun here, not a sentence. And then you add mo here, then it affects this noun. And this means also, right? So there are two things or two people, but there's one common theme. Maybe both are in the Japanese language. Okay, or maybe both are, we don't know how to say this yet, but like small. All right, so mo indicates the preceding noun, whatever, right here this is, has the same property, same idea, same theme as a part of the previous sentence. So in order to use mo, you need the first sentence without mo. You make a statement and to follow it up, because when you want to say also, you need something else before that, right? So it's the same thing. So for example, たけしさんは日本人です。So I'm talking about Takeshi. So this is another phrase particle introducing a topic. Okay. So as for Takeshi, he is Nihonjin. He is Japanese person. So that's just a statement. Okay. And then I'm adding the second statement about Michiko-san. Michiko is a female name. So Michiko-san. All right. And she's also Japanese. So then that's when you can, instead of what, you can use what too, but instead of what, you could use mo. Then you are making a connection between these two sentences. So it's a nice building up with, one idea to another. Michiko is also Japanese. Michiko-san mo Nihonjin desu. So you can use it like this. So there are two people, but they have one common property, one idea. Both are Japanese. So in that case, you can use mo with those second person or second idea. All right. So then that was the answer to that picture. So let's practice about mo. So his name is Carlos. Carlos-san desu. Carlos, but we would say Carlos. Carlos-san. And then there is Mary-san. Both are second-year students. How would you say second-year student? 2年生, ni, right? 年生 is the ending for year student. So, Carlos-san wa 2年生です. That's one statement, new statement. Carlos-san wa 2年生です. Okay, and then we want to say now, Mary is also a second-year student. So instead of Carlos-san wa, we're changing to Mary-san mo 2年生です. The two people, one idea. So you can follow the second person with mo, and you're saying also. Mary-san mo 2年生です. Okay, so this is a Japanese language. So you can say これは日本語です. これは日本語です. Let's say there's another one, exact same thing, different font. Okay, but these two have the same idea, which is the exact same thing, but let's say Japanese language. So you can say これも日本語です. これは日本語です. これも日本語です. So you can introduce another thing following up with the first one by saying mo. Okay, moving on to the next grammar point. We learned how to say something is, which ends with des, right? Pen des, 学生です, 自転車です. So now we're going to learn how to say it's not something, or they are not something. So if you remember these boxes, so we learned here, pen des, then it is a pen, or it will be a pen, right? So pen des. So we're adding this box. So negative will be, we're adding, there are two ways to negate, two ways to make negative sentences. One is, じゃないです. Pen じゃないです. You say, pen じゃないです, and you're saying, it's not a pen. Maybe it's a pencil. Or you can say ペンじゃありません。ペンじゃありません。And both are negative sentences. じゃありません is slightly more polite. So, but when Japanese people use these, we're not really conscious because it's not that big difference. But if I have to tell you, okay, what the difference is, I would say じゃありません is a little bit more polite. But you know, be prepared to hear both and practice both saying them. So these are imperfective. Perfective, we'll learn them later. But so you're saying it is, or it will be, it's not, or it will not be. So, ペンじゃないです or ペンじゃありません. So, ペンです we know this sentence, it is a pen. How about if it's not? How would you make this into a negative sentence? ペンじゃないです You can also say ペンじゃありません. Okay. You're not saying there isn't a pen. You're not saying that. You're just saying it's not a pen. Something is not a pen. So, this is obviously not a pen. So, ペンじゃないです You could say that. Or, 大学生です Someone is a college student. Okay. 大学生です How about someone is not a college student? 大学生じゃないです。大学生じゃありません。And what was casa? Small house. It's an umbrella. So something that, okay, that thing over there, maybe それは傘です。傘です。What about if it's not? 傘じゃないです。or 傘じゃありません。So this is how, by changing です to じゃないです or to じゃありません, you can now make negative sentences. Last one, 魚です. So you're saying it's fish. Okay. What if it's not? 魚じゃないです。魚じゃないです。or 魚じゃありません. You're saying it's not fish. Maybe it's 肉です. Maybe it's meat. And last thing is sentence particles. Okay, so these come at the end of a sentence, just like ka. So if you make a statement and then add ka, that will ka will turn a statement into a question. And you can also put ne, yo, or yo. So it's just one sentence particle at a time. Ne comes at the end of a sentence. It asks a confirmation or agreement from the listener. So it's kind of like you say something, okay, so you want this book, right? Or she is coming, isn't she? Right? So that last question, the tag question, or right? Ne does that by putting ne at the end of a sentence. So sometimes it goes ne, goes up, like right? Or if you're sure but still need a confirmation, then it's just flat. ね、そうですね. On the other hand, yo also comes at the end of a sentence, but it makes the statement more emphatic. So like, I am sure it is, or I'm telling you that's the case. All right, so you are being a little bit more, you are emphasizing that statement is true, and you know that. All right, so, you know, if you want to assure somebody it's going to be okay, then you can say, you know, usually you would say 大丈夫です. 大丈夫 is okay, right? All right. 大丈夫です. But that person, the other person you're speaking, you know, to looks really worried. Then I want to be emphatic about things will be okay. 大丈夫ですよ. 大丈夫ですよ. So I'm trying to be emphatic about it's going to be okay. So you can use yo in that case too. Just be careful using yo too much. Because if you say too many yos, one after sentence another, you sound a little bit like know-it-all. So you don't want to come across like that. So just use it sparingly. When you really mean it's gonna be okay, or I'm telling you, I am sure, use yo. For example, okay, I know it's gonna take a little bit while, but yeah, let's figure it out. And this is our comma, by the way. And this is our period. I think we talked about that. Okay, これは肉じゃ. This is how we write じゃ. G, big G and small ya, because it's じゃ, right? じやじや really fast. じゃ. じゃないです。これは肉じゃないです. So something, maybe like a plate of food, this is not meat. Okay, I don't know what it is, but it's not meat. All right, then you want to ask if, isn't this meat? I thought I ordered meat, but maybe you were not sure. So 50-50, so asking a question, これは肉じゃないですか? Very suspicious. Isn't this meat? But if you say, これは肉じゃないですね, then you think it's not meat. 80% sure. But I need your confirmation. I need you to agree with me, right? So I can complain, maybe. Okay, so that's when you use ね. これは肉じゃないですね. All right. Then I know for sure it's not meat. Okay. Then you can add よ. これは肉じゃないですよ. Maybe you cooked it, so you know it's not. So this is, か is a question, ね asking confirmation, よ will be emphatic. I know it's not. I'm sure this is not meat. Okay, so let's practice a few. So the pattern goes like this. The person A would ask. So at home, you have to do this by yourself. But do both parts. So you're going to ask something that's X, right? So da 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 desu ka. And the other person, you can say あれですか? それですか? これですか? Rhetorical question, echo question. And then you have to say, because it's not, いいえ, whatever it is, じゃないです. And then you're going to give the correct noun, maybe white this. And then you're sure, so you're going to say よ. So for example, we want to ask if it's a bag. So how would you say, is it a bag? カバンですか? Right? カバンですか? Oh. So I would say, それですか? That closer to you. それですか? いいえ、カバンじゃないです. That's not a bag. カバンじゃないです. What is it? 靴ですよ. I know for sure. So, 靴ですよ. Yeah. So the question was, カバンですか? それですか? いいえ、カバンじゃないです. 靴ですよ. So the person who asked the question would be, そうですか. How about, is it a hat? 帽子ですか? Right? 帽子 is a hat. 帽子ですか? それですか? いいえ. How do you say it's not a hat? 帽子じゃないです. And you know what this is? 傘ですよ. 傘ですよ. Okay, we're asking if it's a notebook. ノートですか? それですか? いいえ、ノートじゃないです。新聞ですよ. So newspaper or 新聞. About asking if it's a watch. 時計ですか? それですか? いいえ、時計じゃないです。自転車ですよ。ジーンズですか？それですか？いいえ、ジーンズじゃないです。T シャツです。先生の本ですか？あれですか？いいえ、先生の本じゃないです。学生の本ですよ。So he looks like a student. So 学生の本ですよ。Alright, next practice, we're going to ask about the price. So we can just use それ, the other, closer to the other person. それいくらですか? So how much is that thing over there? それいくらですか? Okay, so for B, that's これ. So これですか? Oh, sorry. これは, so we're just going to go give it to them. これは, and then we're going to put the price. And then we're sure, so end with よ. 高いですね。So 高い was a new vocabulary in lesson 2. Expensive, something is high. So 高いですね。is when you go up, that means what? Yeah, very surprised. And ですね. Yeah. So I want you to agree. So maybe you can, negotiate the price. So that's ね. Right? Don't you think it's an expensive? Yeah, that's what you're saying. Okay, so something is this price. So it's gonna go それいくらですか? And then you're just gonna say これは? Okay. So それいくらですか? This is wallet. 財布ですね。財布。So これは and how about the price? 3000円です。3000円です。高いですね。はい。それはいくらですか？これは300円です。高いですね。それはいくらですか？ノートですね。これは800円です。高いですね。Right, it's a chair. それいくらですか？ Remember, this is not 30,000. It's 3 months. はい、これは3万円です。高いですね。はい。それはいくらですか？これは8000円です。Make sure you skip. 8000円です。高いですね。And I don't know what this is. 魚ですか？ But it doesn't look like fish. I thought it was interesting, so I using it for my prompt. But okay. 8000円です。はい。それはいくらですか？おー、肉ですね。はい。これは8600円です。高いですね。Wow. Okay. We have to try this one. はい。それはいくらですか？ So it's a beautiful kimono. So this would be, it's not 99,000, remember? So this is 9 months, 9,999. So 9 months is 9 months. 9 months, about 9,000. 9,900, 900, 90, 90, and 9, 9. and it's N, Q. So I'll say it more, a little bit more smoothly. 99,999円です。高いですね。Next practice will be メアリーさんはどこですか? So this どこ is where, right? So we want to know where Mary is. メアリーさんはどこですか? メアリーさんですか? So this can be a rhetorical question, echo question. You mean Mary? Yeah, we know, but we just want to make sure. メアリーさんは、メアリーさんですか? And we would say the place in this. そうですか。New information. はい。メアリーさんはどこですか? これはメアリーさんですね。メアリーさんはどこですか? メアリーさんですか? トイレです。トイレです。そうですか。メアリーさんはどこですか? Same question. Okay. メアリーさんですか? 郵便局です。Post office is a little bit difficult. 郵便局です。そうですか。メアリーさんはどこですか? メアリーさんですか? This is cafe, so カフェです。カフェです。そうですか。メアリーさんはどこですか? メアリーさんですか? 銀行です。銀行です。そうですか。メアリーさんはどこですか? メアリーさんですか? 図書館です。図書館です。そうですか。So these are all the places that we learned in lesson 2. So I hope you remember these words, or if not, then it's a good opportunity to practice again. You can use these pictures, but please practice these new words as well. There were a lot of them, right? So after this, I just put the same slides, 100 and plus. So I made a separate video to explain different numbers. So, but if you want to go over this, review, that's fine. But my lecture stops here, and I hope you will look this over. So again, the textbook, Genki book, explain lesson 2, grammar point from page 60 to 64. So please read them again too, together with the slides. And I will see you in another video. お疲れ様でした。